Good morning. My name is Donna Meyer, and I, along with Michelle King and Gwen Kavalova, thank you for coming this morning. We are hoping today to help you gain some clarification on what's appropriate to wear. But we all have our own style, and some of us are really unique. And we all want to look good. We all want to be fashionable. I always want to know what's trendy, what's the latest in fashion, what's traditional, and then what's kind of stretching it a bit too far. We're all members of the Adult Education Committee. Shelley is a TD. Gwen and I are both licensed judges. We also do encourage you, when considering your clothes, to consult with a reputable tax store. Some of them have clothing specialists. They'll help you with the best fit for your shape, hopefully get you coordinated for your entire outfit. And then you can always ask a TD if you've got some other questions about something that you aren't sure of.
So there's good news and bad news. The good news is we're talking about clothes. The bad news is we're talking about clothes in the context of rules. So I'm sorry, but I promise, despite my training as an attorney and as a TD, we are going to make this fun. Always check before you step out, because rules change. But one thing you need to know, DR 120 is the Bible for what to wear at a licensed show. There's another rule, we're going to talk about it more later. It's one that's sort of in the background and we forget. There is a general rule, 801, which states, it is the tradition of the competition ring that riders and drivers be correctly attired for the class in question, that attendants be neatly dressed and horses be properly presented. So that's always underlying everything we talk about here. Getting started, dress code for tests through 4th level, short riding coat of conservative color. A cutaway coat, which is a modified tail coat with short tails, is also permitted.
Okay, now we're going to go into what is conservative, and everybody has a different idea of what they think is conservative. You know, that's not conservative, obviously, but it's classy, it looks good, but no, those would not be considered the conservative thing, okay? So we have to think in those terms because that's the wording that you see.
What's really key is that you read the rules carefully and you read all the rules. So we have a rule that says for all tests above 4th level and blah, 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 the dress code is a dark tailcoat or dark jacket with protective headgear and black boots. And if you stop there, you've missed a lot, because if you go on, the rule says, at all test levels, the code can be within the FEI color scale, and we'll talk some about that, and the helmet, stocks, tie, gloves, and boots can be the color of the code. So, you're wearing a navy coat with burgundy trim. Boot options, always black. Navy, because it's a navy coat. Burgundy trim, burgundy. But we're going to talk more about the FEI color scale, but lots of options. The world has changed. All of these are legal above 4th level. For Grand Prix freestyles, any single coat color will be allowed with accents and modest decorations, but striped or multicolor coats are not permitted. So for freestyles,
If you look at the one on the right, that's a Grand Prix freestyle from a competition, that is allowed, the lighter colored coat. However, the middle one, the striped one, is not a legal coat colored. Even in FEI freestyle, no, not considered legal, okay? We're gonna go to the next slide. Both of these are legal. Classy, tasteful, okay? And then the next slide, if you guys look at this, the two coats on the left are not riding coats, they are dress coats. So most of us in this room, I'm gonna think, wouldn't even consider that, right? But the one on the right is a riding coat. It is legal.
so code of many colors. At all test levels, riders may wear jackets in other colors within the International HSV color scale. as described in the FEI dressage regs. Contrasting coloring piping is allowed, and as we said, everything, your accessories may match. If you look at the next slide, that is a tool that you can see to help you figure out what is legal in the way of color. I also want to pause and let you know that there is an entire slideshow learning module on the USDF website on how to use and interpret the FEI color scale. So if you go to the USDF website, log in, and then go to TDs, you will scroll and you'll see how to interpret the color scale. And that presentation will go through a ton of examples and show you what is legal and what's not, as well as also explain to you how to use this color guide. The thing to remember is that different monitors display colors differently, okay? That makes it a little tricky. The key to remember is dark. When you start getting too light, you start raising questions about legality. Now, the other thing to remember, and we're going to get to this further, but this is really, really important. In dressage dress rules, sections 1 through 5 are discretionary with the judge. We're going to talk about what's mandatory in a minute. All the dress rules, except what you can wear when coats are waived, are discretionary. What that means for you is you can go to 10 dressage shows with a coat that might be technically too light, and the judge says nothing. You can go to your 11th show, and the judge may say, that coat color is a problem. So all of you who are saying, gee, I wore this and somebody didn't say something, and the next show somebody did, the rules are discretionary, but be cautious. You don't want that 11th show to be at the finals.
And just from a judge's standpoint, I personally don't like eliminating people. That's just kind of my thing. I have multiple times called for the TD, given them a rider number, and said, go have a chat with them about saddle pad, coat, and things, because I know down the road they're going to get caught, especially if I gave them a qualifying score for regionals. I don't want them going in with a questionable item. I want them to know before they get there and get eliminated by somebody. So if a TD comes up to you and says, you know, you're pushing it with this item, don't get angry at the TD. Realize we're just trying to save you the embarrassment of being eliminated by the one judge who legally can eliminate you. And I know that we want to be expressive, but we need to think within the scale.
So if you look here, the one coat on the left is too light. The middle is when you use the tool on this monitor, what's legal. Clearly the one on the left is too light. The one on the right is closer, but maybe not there. Would a judge say anything? Probably not. Maybe on the left. Just be aware when you're pushing the limits and the risk you take. This one's legal. There's lots of room for good expression.
So now we're looking at the 3 coats up here.
So the red one's too light, the blue one's too light, obviously the black is fine. So in addition to a jacket, a tie, a choker or stock tie, or an integrated stand-up collar is allowed. What is an integrated collar? That is a sample, and basically any shirt you would wear that has a built-in tie, choker, or stock tie. So if you are wearing a shirt where it would be duplicative to add other neckwear, then you're wearing a shirt with an integrated collar. So, are these legal? Yeah, they are all ties, stock ties, chokers. Now, let's get to the whys. Some of them would be interesting. We've got an example of a really unusual, I think it's a European style stock tie. Very different, flat, not puffy, but lovely. All of these are legal. How wise is it to wear a stock tie with a skull and bones on it? Probably not very.
But at the same time, from a judge's point of view, what are the chances I'm going to notice that's a skull? Am I looking at your neck that hard? I hope I'm not. So if you decide to do it, it makes you happy, that's fine. I'm probably not going to notice it. But when we say wise, we're saying, you know, what's the impression you're trying to give if somebody does notice it, okay? So now getting into breeches. We talk about light colored breeches, okay? And these are all legal. They're all nice and light, okay? And then we go to the next slide. And some of these are too dark, all right? And you can't call number 2 light, 3 or 4, and probably not 6. Now, those are light, correct? Are they wise to wear in a show? Beautiful schooling breeches, fun to wear at the barn, not show. And then, of course, you have the kids and still some adults who will wear jodhpur boots and jods, and that's fine too. Again, light colored. We don't get to change the color scheme just because we're going to jodhpurs. That's where we don't always think about where it looks for the judge. So the shiny helmets cross a little bit of a barrier sometimes because you want us to actually judge you, okay? Then the next one, so here's where Gwen puts on her other helmet. I'm an ER medic, okay? I work at the only hospital that gives away riding helmets because of a program I instigated. That is going to lead to trouble. You come off and that hat twists and it pushes on the soft part of your skull, that's going to knock you out. Your horse spooks and the helmet falls over your eyes. Are you safe? No. So that gets caught in warm-up, you get to fix it. It gets caught in the ring, most judges are going to eliminate you. I'm not even going to let you start your ride. You come up towards me and I see that, out of my ring. Because I'm not going to have you knocked out in my ring. And most judges won't. It's not discretionary.
Okay, so you're going to a show and it's the summer and it's 95 degrees. 2 ways jackets can get waived, just quickly. It may be in the prize list. If it's always hot and humid in Virginia in July, we're going to put it in the prize list. Read the prize list before you go. Or they may waive jackets at a show. If jackets are waived, you cannot wear sleeveless shirts. You cannot wear neckwear. Okay, a couple common myths. I can't tell you the number of times I've been asked, can I wear a shirt that has color? Does it have to be light color? Once upon a time, those were rules. You can wear any riding shirt, has sleeves, has a collar. There are so many people that say, I don't look good without a jacket, and they come out of the ring and they're bright red riding vests. Riding vests are a wonderful substitution for a jacket when coats are waived. So one thing, before you go to the show, think about your undergarment. Because if jackets are waived, you might not want to be wearing a black bra, women, and a white shirt. Just a heads up. Okay, so the rule says when jackets are waived, gotta have no neckwear. And then we have the question of what's neckwear. Stock ties obvious, chokers obvious. The one on the left, would you wear a stock or collar over it? The bottom line is on those integrated collars, shirts with integrated collars, you can't have it both ways. If you're wearing the shirt under a coat and you're not adding additional neckwear, then that shirt is neckwear and you can't wear it when the jacket is waived, unless it has some way that you can unbutton it and turn it down into a collar, okay? So that's an example of a shirt that maybe when it's closed has a built-in choker. and that's the must they open the collar. If the judge is going to think that is neckwear, then you should open the collar. The key is when jackets are waived, nothing sleeveless, no neckwear. Shirt must have a collar, no t-shirts. So this is just more examples of neckwear, and again, a shirt that borderline integrated collar. So if jackets are waived, who in this picture is legal? The guy on the horse. The person on the left could probably make that shirt legal depending on how it closes. But if it's a closure in the back, that's a stock tie built into the shirt, that would not be legal. And sleeveless is never legal.
Okay, so it's inclement weather and you're going to cover up that beautiful $500 helmet, right? Most of us have a clear or a dark rain cover that we can cover with. But by technicality, everything on the right you could use. Technically, there's nothing that says you can't cover your helmet. But would you? Would you really want to do that? That's why we say, is it wise? You know, think about it. So you know you're going to a show, it might rain. Take the clear cover, take the dark cover. The eventers use that all the time, cross country, that's great. They usually don't use it in the dressage ring. So just think about it. There's nothing that says you can't use that to protect your helmet. We're just saying, let's be wise about that helmet cover. And then we go on, same thing with rain covers. Okay, a lot of us ride in the rain. So the one on the left, very classy, your coat's underneath, you're protected, good raincoat. The one in the middle, look at the hoodie thing on the back. What happens when we sit the trot or when we canter? It goes flippity flop, okay? Is it legal? Yeah, but that's very distracting. It's gonna kill on your riding score. If that's flopping around, you might be flopping around. We don't know, okay? And the one on the right, again, is it wise? Vests. Now we're getting into vests. Again, riding vests when it's too hot, or in this case, a cooling vest. A lot of times we'll see cooling vests on people. Both of those totally appropriate to wear when coats are waived, if you want to and don't want to just wear the shirt. And this is kind of where a lot of folks are going because they feel naked without their jackets on. And there's options. So you can wear a vest like that, be a little bit cooler.
Not with the choker.
Good point.
So,
Okay.
sponsorships. We're not going to talk about this because that's going to open saddle pads and logos and all. But when sponsorships are allowed, they are allowed to be displayed on your outermost garment. And that, again, is a section DR 121. So read that.
Okay, and then this is just a list under DR 120 of items that could cause issues that the judges have to take into consideration. When we see these items obviously everybody knows electronic devices, anything in your ear, automatic elimination, guys. You can't tell me, oh, I forgot. I don't know who's talking to you, okay? So you get in trouble. Logos come into question for size. Again, you can look that up. Cooling vests we just talked about are legal. Orange vests for safety, we're going to question that. But all these items are covered in DR 120.
And this is the list of the mandatory eliminations as opposed to DR 120, 1 through 5, where it's discretionary with the judge.
So we're going to get into the sport horse and hand part. So if you read through this, it says conservative sports attire is recommended. Okay, what in the world is conservative sports attire? And there's a lot of different versions of it. So conservative is what we consider on the next slide. A shirt, a short or long sleeve, preferably a collar, doesn't have to have, and usually light colored pants. Now we're going to get all kinds of versions of this. As a sport horse judge, I have seen shorts. I have seen short pants. And the worst thing I have seen is big, fluffy, floppy shirts. What happens when your shirt flops and you're leading your horse? You have a spooked horse, I have a loose horse in my ring. People need to think that part through, okay? This has less of a restriction in the sport horse, so people get a little over the top. The horse is being shown. We don't judge you at all unless it's a handler's class, okay? Be conservative. Helmets. If it's not secured, you're out the ring. We're not going to play that game. People have been kicked in the head. We're not going there. You have to have helmets. We made it a requirement. So on the left is actually one of our very famous handlers. This is what we used to allow. No helmet, okay? But look at the relationship in the quality of the attire. The next one has a helmet because it's required, but look how neat that is. Those are neat outfits. I don't care if you have beige pants or what color shirt you wear. The handler on the right has a logo there that's totally legal, advertising who she's showing for. Totally legal. What you can't see is the handler behind her that's helping her from the ground has the exact same outfit. Very professional looking. That's what we like. Pet peeve from sport horse judges, what you have on your feet. Jodhpur boots, running shoes, all good. The worst thing I have ever seen, those running socks that have toes, somebody actually came into the ring, okay? If that person had been stepped on, I have broken foot major big time. We're kicking those people out. Those are called running socks, but that person thought it was legal. And it's not illegal, but it's a safety issue, and a judge at their discretion can ask the handler to leave. So again, thinking about those kinds of things. Move on to schooling shows. These are a little bit more conservative on the left, conservative on the right. Brighter in the middle has a little bit brighter color. You know, think about the neatness, what you want to display. It doesn't matter as long as it's neat. No untucked shirts. I've seen at a schooling show an untucked shirt. I've seen a t-shirt, baggy t-shirt, flopping away. Again, they want an equitation score. That's good. And if I can't see your back line, not a good idea. So neatness, so that way the judge can look at you, okay? And we talked already about the changes in boots. Again, another neat looking, perfectly appropriate for schooling shows. All of those are also appropriate for level 1, right? And they're also appropriate for clinics.
I just want to say one quick thing on schooling shows. Read the prize list that governs the schooling show, because some associations and some special shows have requirements and may say, we follow USEF rules, so know before you go.
And also, don't forget, if you decide to wear a coat, you have to wear the neckwear that goes with the coat. So when you step up to say, I'm going to go as if I'm at a recognized show, you have to fully finish out dressing. Some people come in the open collar and they forgot to put on their necktie because it was a schooling show. Okay. And then we'll move on to clinics here. So clinics, any of you who have been to the big FEI symposiums or any organized symposium, a lot of times they have dress requirements. They usually all wear a shirt that they're given so it looks really good during the symposium. Most clinics don't, unless they're that large, will not have a required dress code. But think about it again, why are we going to the clinic? We want to learn something. Do we want to wear the loose t-shirt? Do we want to wear the overly bright clothing? I see a lot of really nice plaid breeches, some nicely coordinated outfits. We're just saying think neat, think classy, so that way the instructor knows you're there for a purpose. You're there to learn and not look like you came out to the barn and muck stalls and then jump on your horse. A lot of spur straps have silver, have the Swarovski crystals and all of that. Quiet legs, good. Not so quiet legs, maybe you're showing that you're spurring your horse constantly. I don't know. That's something to think about. The hair buns and ribbons, usually that doesn't cause much of a problem, I don't think. I don't think these things draw much of an attention, and if they fit you and you're comfortable, we're good with that. The one thing we were talking about, I don't know how many people deal with the hunter jumper world or see it, but their little kids on ponies have the braids. They like to do the long braids with the ribbons, which looks fun when you're going over fences. What does it look like to the kid who has the bouncy pony? Think about those braids doing this. It's distracting, okay? So for a dressage kid, yeah, it would look cute, but again, is it wise? Do you want those ponytails or those braids to be up and down? And then we've also seen, we put in feathers because of the fact that We've seen kids with feathers braided into their hair. Again, a little floppy, a little distracting.
Yeah, I mean, logos are a tricky area. If it's the manufacturer's label, that is not a logo. If somebody comes up with breeches with along the whole side of the leg, that would be something that would probably draw some question. And again, the whole point is you want to look tasteful, you want to express your creativity, but you don't want to be having the judge sitting there going, is that legal? Do I need to call the TD? Oh, I'm on to another movement now. You want the focus to be on you, your ride, and the overall professional picture you present. So just be smart when you're going shopping and when you're choosing your clothing for a licensed show.
And remember, are you wanting that judge's last thought and your final salute being about the outfit you wore, or how well you rode your horse? How well you and your horse worked. If the last thing I'm looking at my scribe and saying, wow, that was a lot of color, that's not the last thought. The last thought should be, that was a nice, well-ridden ride.
And I just want to say, use the TD as a resource. Every TD I have ever met since I've gotten my license is happy to answer questions, is there to help. Use them as a resource, but read the rules before you go. And make sure to read the latest rules so you start out knowing what the guidelines are.